A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
He opens both eyes and turns his head toward you, looking you up and down. He smiles and closes his eyes once more.
You look like a boy to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't. The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger, it's...
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
Anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that. Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate, even here. No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
Come on, you stubborn hunk of garbage.
The dwarf's fingers clamp around a splintered chunk of wood nailed to the skeleton of an old ship. His whole body strains with the effort of wrenching the plank free, to no avail.
Ah! Got two of my own, haven't I?
The dwarf spits into each of his calloused palms and rubs them together before placing them both back on the plank and pulling.
Bleeding nail must be charmed or something. Go on then, give it a go.
You grab the plank and pull, but strain as you might, the pesky plank doesn't budge.
Forget it. Thanks for trying, though. You're a good kid.
He winks and flips a gold coin toward you. It makes a long, high arc, glinting in the sun, and lands squarely in your hand.
For your trouble. No, but I'd hoped to build something with it that would be worth 1,000. Yeah, it were a fool's errand thinking I could make something out of this heap, but I couldn't help myself from trying.
He sucks a finger and holds it up to the wind, testing the breeze.
Winds like these, she would have capsized before she reached the break. Well, on to plan B.
He gives you a wry look, as though deciding whether to trust you.
Aye, was planning to build me a raft and paddle off. I've got business north of here, in a town called Driftwood. Far be it from me to miss an appointment. Maybe you don't.
He stands before you and pokes you in the side, seizes your shoulder with a great, strong hand.
There's something of you, you know? You don't have to accept your fate on this bloody island. You can leave here, get on with your life. Why don't we make a deal then? You help me get out of this place, and I'll do the same for you. That's the spirit.
He lifts an invisible cap and bows with the grace of a courtier.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. The name's... well, the name's dead and buried. What matters is what they call me. Beast. Eh, now, it's quite a nice-sized place, actually. Play your cards right and I'll invite you for the summer. I'll tell you when you're older. Anyhow, we're a team now, so the me is not half as important as the us. Let's get down to brass tacks. Fighting, I mean. I've been up and down the realm so often it'd make your cabbage spin, and I've picked up a few tricks along the way. Truth be told, I've grown fond of crushing and casting. A battle mage, if you like. But there's not so important as team dynamics. So what'll it be? Then it's settled. Capital. Well, that's that sorted. Onward then. I've got to get out of here, and soon. And I suppose you do too.
The dwarf slaps his knees and chest until a buoyant rhythm develops and begins to, well, not sing exactly, but chant.
They stole me boots and burned me hat, but beast of the sea will come asking for me. They locked me up with a pig and a rat, but beast of the sea will come asking for me. Oh, not bad for being off the top of me head.
He bows to an almost comical depth, then rises and laughs.
Welcome to the joy, my famed friend.
Well, I wasn't feeling so welcome till now. You almost had me dancing. You get any more songs in you? This savage beast could use some soothing.
Well, I got a right good rebel whooper on hand, warning of the barbaric beast. The other, well, it ain't so respectful, but Royal Guards folk on holiday always ate it up.
Gotta admit, I'm tired of hearing the shanties all singing my praises. Let's hear the Royalist tune. I bet it dresses me down real good.
One Royalist tune coming up. Oh, Macca Smiles, bastard born, the man of life enraged him. A gnashing varmint he became, so Queen sought then to cage him. A pitiful sight, his inadequate fight, the quivering lump sent out of Queen's sight. Macca Smiles, bastard born, the royal knights upstaged him.
Ha! I knew there'd be some good lines in there. Quivering lump. Too funny to be mad at.
The Royal Guard. He'd sing this while wandering the hinterlands, looking for rebels in the shadows. It was some time ago, of course, back when you were banished to the Isle of Mists.
Beast looks to the ground for a moment, but just a moment. His cheeks rise and redden, and he roars in laughter.
Ha ha ha! Those were the days, eh, chum? Well, I've got to get moving. Good to see a friendly face, though. Ain't too many wandering around this glum camp.
The priest's jaws might be sewn shut with fishing wire, so harshly do they clench at the sight of Beast. He speaks one clipped, precise syllable.
Son, I'm not offended by the beast, no matter how foul that name feels to my lips. Just disappointed.
He turns his attention to Beast himself, whose face looks oddly blank, given his usual rambunctious demeanour.
Did you think your merry band could try to toss Justinia into the sea and the clouds would turn to rainbows? A storm of your making still rages, and whenever word of your deeds reaches her ears, lightning strikes. When your flunkies scream for revolution, I know what they're really screaming for, Beast. And I know it's dwarven blood being shed.
Someone had to stand up to Justinia. Not all of us are like you religious types. You fold up your hands and pray. Like that's going to feed the hungry and bathe the young. I'm not given to prayer. I just get things done.
I would sooner implore Duna to intervene than to leave behind a trail of crimson limbs for the innocent to clean away.
The priest collects himself. His eyes still burn, but his words are ice.
May the Seven bless you, Beast.
Not drawing many winning cards of late, but I won't be crying over it. Sailed away from my last island prison scot-free. No reason I can't do it again. You notice that, eh? Well, I'm a lot of things, but subtle ain't one of them. So, there's some things you ought to know about me. I'm sort of... kinda royalty. I mean, I never wore a crown. Not with diamonds in it, anyway. I once stuck a wreath on my head and... Oh, sorry. I need to stop with that whole tangent thing. Anywho, let's just get it out there. I'm a bastard. The literal kind. And the other kind. The royals weren't all great with me, and I weren't too great with them. To make an overlong story over short, I started the rebellion and got caught and exiled to an island prison. Like Fort Joy, but 10 times worse. I would have died there too, if one of Justinia's ships hadn't sailed so close. So, I kinda took it, and off I went. Cool, right? And then I came upon the Victory. Nice ship. The royal sailors walked the plank as well as you could hope for. And that's where I found the notes. Right there in the open, next to the manifest. I'm no pirate. I just play the part. I prefer revolutionary. Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it. Now let's see how quick I can tell you the rest. Queen Justinia's ordered some dwarf named Lohar to ambush a ship called the Peacemaker and take its cargo. Whatever's on it, she's using it against the rebels. She calls it Operation Downfall. Pretty ominous, eh? So, yeah, hoping to find this Lohar fellow and stop the Operation Downfall thing. And there you have it. Tangent-free. Mostly. Well, not mostly. A little. Okay, not at all. Aye, the right enemies. I ain't saying I'm some proper role model. But you show me anyone whose heart ain't soaked in shadow and they'll have enemies. If you're light, the darkness is your enemy. If you're song, then it's silence. And if you're a free man or woman, then tyranny is your foe. You've got enemies, haven't you? Aye, sometimes you make enemies just by being who and what you are. That's all it takes. They'll hate you because of the source in you, or because you've got scaly skin, or because you eat limbs. Okay, I admit that one still creeps me out sometimes. I'm no people person, but I've had a run-in or two with magisters before, and let me tell you, most of them couldn't pour water out of a boot. One way or another will slip past them. Just keep your head to the ground. You'll get more than an earful of dirt, I promise. So, you read through it all, which means you know what I'm up against. Not much more than the paper told you, but it's enough to know I've got to stop Justinia. She's got the rebellion in her sights. My comrades, my friends. Listen up. The Queen was a good woman once, and I'm her bastard cousin, so I would know. Come rainy days, we'd sail paper boats and drop beetles on them for plank walking. She was never a beast, but her spirit roamed free. Then Queen Laura died, and it was Justinia's turn. The Divine Order was growing, and the lizards were on the move. First it was just flags, the royal insignia always flapping in my face, demanding my allegiance. Then it spread. You say a good word about Lucian, and you just disappeared. Artists were cleared from the streets, replaced by royal goons in full armour. The lizards would come, they said, and we should all be ready to take up arms if the Queen demanded it. There was no way to live. Me and the others, we decided it was time for a change.
Shadows of the past cloud his bright eyes. He no longer looks at you, but through you.
A storm is brewing, we can be sure of that. But I'm just as sure the sky will clear after. The gulls will come back to perch and the sun will dry our faces. That peace is all the more special when you've heard the thunder before it.
The dwarf cocks his head left, then right. His eyes squint, and his brows rise, as if lifted by an unseen fishhook.
Marcus? Marcus Miles?
Beast glances at you and mutters.
Best let me handle this. That's Beast nowadays, friend. That other name, long left that behind, I did.
Right, sorry. Just hard not to see you as that wild-eyed troublemaker you used to be. It's been, what, over a decade, yeah?
Longer than that. Too bad I'm cooped up here. Things are looking grim out there. Justinia's planning something big. Really big.
Oh, bigger than what she's already managed. Say a single word against her, and a royal copper will throw you in a dank cell or carve the royal insignia on your throat. Unless you've got a handful of coin to donate to the kingdom, of course. You're going to need to blow this popweed stand if you want to stop her, but maybe this'll help, eh? Nab the key off that Kraus fella up above. Not the brightest of the magisters. Would stick his head in a pig's arse and call it a hat. Reckon it unlocks one of the doors to the prison, though not sure which. I'd tell you to take care crossing the Divine Order, but from what I hear, you can handle yourself just fine against Alexander's flunkies.
Word gets around, does it? Well, I appreciate the help. I won't forget it. Out of the frying pan and into... You know what? You've heard that one before, so let's try a new one. Shite's all mucked up. Yeah, it seems more to the point, doesn't it? Well, it's complicated. Where to even begin? They're gorillas.
Beast chuckles as your forehead crinkles in confusion.
You know, as in guerrilla warfare? Oh boy, I thought you had a funny bone in you, but I swear some witch doctor's gone and yanked it out. Good women, good men. Still fighting the good fight, too, though most of them fled to the hinterlands. The wave dancer's crew's probably gone to join him. No offence to you, but I missed him. Still, it's probably best I don't subject him to all this. Power, plain and simple. It's like this. Some people, when they get a taste of something delicious, they want more and more of it. Like fried sea bass. Once you start, you can't stop slurping. Justinia got a taste of that power the first time she threw a mouthy jester into the dungeon at the urging of her advisor, just 'cause he pointed out her, rotundness. That's a word, right? That's where it started. And it still ain't finished. Sure enough. Amazing how quick things change, too. When I was a lad, Laura would invite lizard dignitaries, elven seers, folk like that, big fish from other ponds. Now, a lizard don't dare step foot in the kingdom, lest some sword-loving royalist scrape off his scales. Can't stand those types. But I don't blame them. Some folk, they've got the short end of the stick. They've got lots of anger in their hearts, and when your queen tells you who you're supposed to hate, well, that's who you hate. Shite like that, that's why I did the noble thing. I fought it. You shouldn't have to fear your own queen, and you shouldn't have to fear some bogeyman just 'cause that queen's needing a scapegoat. Aye, this is a good un. Now, close your eyes and let it wash over you. The beast of the sea is skippering his beloved ship, the Wave Dancer, heading to Reaper's Coast. His target's there, you see, a notorious criminal kingpin called Lohar. The sails are full and the crew's in right spirits, barking shanties like a chorus of seals. Tell my mates I sailed the straits, and soon will dock in the Echo's Hall. Ain't to last, though. Magister ships surround the Wave Dancer like sharks circling their prey. The brave rebels are on the ropes until the legendary beast boards the Magister flagship and summons a cyclone the likes of which no man or woman has seen. Rain and wind, void-woken everywhere, and our hero beast, the valiant, selfless beast, surrenders himself to the Magisters so the Wave Dancer may escape amid the rising chaos. What bravery! What sacrifice! Ah, what bollocks. I ain't no hero. Besides, you know how the rest goes. Hell, you're helping to write it. The Magisters haul me off, and soon enough, I'm heading to Fort Joy. Collared, like the beast I am. Ah, you're making me blush. Truth is, a captain's only as good as his crew, but we all share a common goal. Freedom. The dwarven people, we've been through a lot. We deserve it. So, how'd they get you? I reckon that's the case for all us sorry souls who find ourselves on this flea-bitten island. As for me...
He runs a hand slowly down the plaits of his beard, smiling sumptuously.
I don't plan to spend a moment longer here than is strictly necessary. As far as I can tell, he's doing the Queen's dirty work. And when we get off this tiny speck of an island, I'll be getting me some answers. Based on that letter, their plan was this. Lohar and his people sink a Magister ship, the Peacemaker. They transfer its cargo to the Victory, and then the Victory sails off to Duna knows where. No telling what the cargo is, but it means trouble.
He winks.
And not the good kind. And here I thought I was a talker. Well, it just so happens that getting off islands is my speciality. I'm like the Aeolus of escaping islands. Get it? Aeolus. No? Fine, you get the gist though. So, here's the thing. Where there's a sea, there's boats. Boom. Simple as that. We'll find one docked, or one will sail by, and... Well, as you probably figured, I'm good at stealing boats. Hold up. I've got to take care of some business. Friend, how does life find you?
Well, I'll be. If it ain't the beasts of the sea. Stories of your beard alone fly across Riverland like flocks of crows. Fair bit more inland than you'd prefer, yeah?
Ain't I know it, ain't I know it.
Beast claps him on the back and chuckles heartily. If they hadn't met just a moment ago, you might think the dwarves lifelong friends.
I don't want to intrude, seeing as how you got your own trials and travails, but I don't suppose you've been to Reaper's Coast of late. Maybe heard of a fella named, what was it? Lohar?
Lohar? Yeah, I know of the guy. From back when I was looking for fishing work out in Driftwood. He's, how shall I say, an entrepreneur. Still out there a bit. Had his stubby fingers and a lot of pies, if you get my meaning.
Sounds like a man I'd buy 2 flagons of mead for. One for drinking and one for toasting. I, got something for him. I'll tell him you sent your regards, Mr.
It's Duggan it is. Oh, and this here's Leah. You gotta be sick of that collar. Leah, you can get it fixed up, yeah?
Sure thing.
Bet you're glad to be rid of it. Amazing to meet the beast in flesh. Let's see if we can get you back to sea. Fighting the good fight, yeah? Your lungs have got to be starved for the salt air.
Beast chortles and nods, then passes you a sly wink. Such a charm bucket.
I've been sailing for a long time, but I don't know if I've ever seen so much drama. Not in all my years. Ha! Hooking up with your crew's been nothing if not eventful, my boy. I don't know. I've never been one for worshipping. I always figured if Duna really existed, he'd show himself. I mean, am I really supposed to ask some invisible dwarf in the sky to grant world peace? Or give me a pony? Yeah, sounded like a waste of time to me. But, then he showed himself. He said he could help me free our people if I helped him. And I left with more questions than when I started. Look, I don't know how to ask you this, but you all right up there?
He punctuates his point by rapping his own head a few times.
We get this tub moving. I mean, what else would we do, mate?
He notes your gaping mouth and slaps you on the back with a guffaw.
You hoping to catch some flies in that maw of yours? I'm joshing you. If you're going to have an adventure, you need to get used to some ribbon, friend. Because let me tell you, if you're not laughing, you're dying.
White as driftwood salt, the dwarf flinches at your approach, yet she holds a short, clean blade aloft. Her fierce stance can't hide the trembling of her fingers.
Back! Get back! I'll kill you, just like the rest of them.
Shh, lass. I know you're all afraid. In times like these, I don't blame you. But I ain't out to hurt you. Now, why don't you take a few breaths and tell me what happened?
She slumps, all bravado draining from her.
No. I've never seen anything like those beasts before. Are they gone?
Voidwoken, you mean? Poor thing. No wonder you were scared. I'd be scared too.
Those? Yes. Worst ones I've ever seen. Ripped through the Magisters. The dwarves. Dead. And the sorcerers. Gone.
Her eyes stare vacantly into the distance, glassy as marbles. It's not cold, yet her shivering is relentless.
I don't know. Oh, Duna's beard. Lohar. My boss, Lohar, will want to know what happened to them, but I can't remember.
Lohar, eh? Where will I find this boss of yours?
Oh, well, you'll find him in Effie's Emporium, neath the Black Bull. He's a fine man. A little gruff, yeah, but he's the only one in Driftwood wanting to help and not hurt.
She looks up at Beast through tear-stained eyes, but you can see her resolve hardening as she remembers who she is and what she stands for.
I Oh, Seven Sympathy. I saw those things dragging the sorcerers along the cliffs towards the Wreckers' Caves. Oh, no. No more. It's gone.
She flinches at the slightest rustle of wind through the long grass. Terror in her eyes, she stumbles away from you.
Hey up, if it ain't the beast, man. Can't believe you found driftwood. How do you smell the ale over all that rotten fish? Get it?
The unfamiliar dwarf scratches his head nervously, then chuckles again. He doesn't seem sure what to say next.
Hey, shh, keep it low. I don't need magisters crawling up my backside after I just emptied it out.
I'll be quiet as a mouse. You bet. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Now go on down. Effie's Emporium's your bag for sure.
What do you want? Boss is busy.
Beast strokes his beard for a few seconds, buries his hand inside it, then whips it out again to display his extended middle finger. He marches past, finger still raised, to the chagrin of the gawking guard. The guard shrugs back.
Boss can take care of himself. I'd like to see your friend try that with him. I brought you up from girl to woman, Marla. Like you was my own. This.
He lifts his right arm, showing a white bandage beneath his ribs. A wet red spot shows through.
This ain't the thanks I expected. Who sent you?
The formidable dwarf slams his fist on the side table. You hear a loud crack.
Enough! Do you know they killed Anhar? Do ya? Start talking sense or I'll take that tongue right out of your mouth and fry it for supper.
Beast growls under his breath and slowly reaches for his weapon. Beast thrusts his weapon at his fellow dwarf, who looks first to you, then to Beast. He's surprisingly unfazed by the obvious threat.
Bant! Cade! Get her to talk or bleed her out. She ain't one of mine anymore.
His sneer travels from the restrained dwarf to you.
And you. You're a brave lad waltzing in here now. I know who you are, you know. The Beast of the Sea. What brings you to this good-for-nothing town?
Operation Downfall, you numbskull, and you'll tell me what you know, or I'll turn your guts inside out and stuff them down your throat.
Disgusting. Well, before you go blood-crazed, you should know the Queen's no friend of mine. Not no more.
He hawks a wad of spit on the floor, then motions to the room around him.
I'm a businessman. I can't say I always keep things on the up and up, but I don't think a rogue pirate's got a lot of room to judge a man for his various trade concerns. And what Justinia's cooking up ain't so good for my bottom line. I don't want to help Justinia. I want to stop her.
Beast considers Lohar's words for a moment, then sheaths his weapon and motions to Lohar to keep talking.
I thought you'd see things my way. Come, make yourself comfortable. We'll have a chat when you're ready. Brave lad, waltzing in here now. I hope for your sake you've got good news for me. Family matter. She's one of mine, acting like her brains are scrambled though. Came after me with a knife. Lucky for me, she caught an old wound. Scar slowed down the knife. So, how'd you make it out of Fort Joy? I've got people. They've got people. People talk. The Magisters never shut up long enough to listen. But me, I love a good story. Here's one I heard lately. A group of strangers landed on the beaches outside town. Meister Seaver's people. You one of her little seekers? Chasing down Godwoken and begging them to save us all? That's so.
He leans back and narrows his eyes, looking you up and down.
You know, the Order's been going on about Godwoken for an eon now. Voidwoken's still lurking, though, and they're still hauling folks off to the Joy. So if you are who you say you are, what's the point of you? Ah, I should have guessed. I could help you, but last I heard you was working for the Magisters. Big shots at the boats. Now, Why in the name of all that hurts would I help a worm like that?
An unpleasant smirk twitches around the corners of his mouth.
Right. I reckon I could help you out, depending on what you can do for me.
He gestures towards the bandage across his side.
Had a bit of family trouble lately. My girl Marla got it in her head to come after me with a short blade. That ain't like Marla. Ain't like her to pull the silent treatment either. Something's going on. And wouldn't you know it, that blade she used wasn't any normal bit of steel. Belonged to another of my people. Guy's name is Mordus. Bit of a loner, but smart as hell. I sent a few guys to go check on him, see if he knew what had got into Marla, but no one can find him. I'd like a word with the guy. Glad you see it that way. No one's seen him in a good few. I've got some people checking out his house near the tavern now, though. Tell them I sent you, and they'll let you know what they've found. Truth is, they might be glad to see you. Reckon a sorcerer will have better luck finding one of their own. Well, like I said, Mordus is a special guy. A sorcerer, matter of fact. Maybe even one of the ones Seaver's after. If there's something you want to find out from him, you might want to ask before I have my word with him. Here, you can take this off my hands. More suited to your kind, really. Good luck.
The dwarven woman hums to herself as she works with total focus and concentration. Her ears twitch at your approach, but she does not turn to you.
Yes.
What's this, woman? I know a bomb when I see it. Out with it!
Ah, one of Lohar's, are you? You should know better than to stick your clumsy fat fingers in the Queen's secret operations.
Beast raises his fists in a rage. You're not sure whether he intends to crush the dwarf or the machine she's tinkering with. Beast's fists slam down hard onto the device. Shards fly from it in all directions, and the lights within it dim and then wink out completely.
Looks like you've had some technical difficulties, eh?
I know what you look like. I'll report you. Queen Justinia will have vengeance.
Not much of a landlubber, but sometimes I get no choice in the matter. Besides, there's business to take care of. I always figured every dwarf is pure of heart when they pop out of their mummas, but we ain't born cruel. We're made cruel. That means we can be made uncruel. Not sure Lohar will ever be an upstanding member of his community, but he knows where to draw the lines. First of all, I'm rash. If that comes as some kind of surprise, you've not been paying attention. Second of all, that tinkerer or weaponsmith or whatever she wasn't knitting a sweater. That thing was made to kill dwarves, and I was made to smash it. Any questions? No? Good. Well, the way I see it, we're supposed to learn the ways of Source from these teacher people. It's like going to school. Someone learns us a lesson, and then there's a test.
Beast grumbles.
I don't like tests.
Beast bristles the moment he sees his fellow dwarf and slams his right fist into his left palm, growling all the while.
You scheming bastard. Death fog? Give me one good reason I shouldn't split both your heads in two.
Calm your jaw. It's like this. I didn't sign up to move Deathfog. Other weapons, even soul-forged weapons, sure. But Deathfog? Absolutely not. When we found the bomb on a Magister ship, I was told to ship it to Arx along with the rest of the stuff. But I couldn't. Mordus disagreed, obviously. But thanks to you, he's dead. You need to get to Arx as quickly as possible. That's where she's planning to use it. And I pray whenever that is, that it ain't too late.
Death fog. Nasty stuff. Overkill for a bunch of scattered rebels, though. Justinia's stooping lower than even I thought possible. Hard to say. That mad Dr. Isbale's the one who pulls the Queen's strings. No idea who's pulling hers. All I know is that we don't want death fog catching a ride on the roaring Ark's winds. Long as that stuff's around, no one's safe. Not much of a landlubber, but sometimes I get no choice in the matter. Besides, there's business to take care of. Grim for sure, but what gets me is why? The rebellion's scattered all over the hinterlands. Death fog's deadly, but it ain't precise. It's overkill for a ragtag array of revolutionaries. Listen, when I was wee, one of Laura's manservants used to tell an old lizard tale. Once, when the ancient empire stretched across all Rivellon, there was an emperor called Reza. A good lizard, but a sickly one. Scales flaking off, eyes bugging out, that kind of thing. One day, a doctor came to him. Zin was his name. And Zin said he could cure the Emperor's disease. The Emperor agreed to his poultice of herbs and black rose petals, and it worked. The Emperor was, it seems, cured, as long as he continued treatment. This didn't please the Emperor's advisor, Gaul, however. Gaul didn't want Reza cured, for he planned to inherit the Empire. So he convinced the Emperor that someone like Zin had the power to both cure and kill. On his advice, Reza had the doctor executed. With Zin dead, the Emperor's disease returned. The sickness took him soon after. The hateful Gaul took his place, ushering in a century of misery. Yeah, not a fun story to tell a kid thinking back on it. Anywho, Isbel's been at the Queen's side for years, poisoning her mind with her filth. She's like two things from that story. She's the advisor, and she's the disease. And me, I'm going to be the cure. That metaphor works, right? I'm going with a yes.
Two dwarven spirits at loggerheads.
I recognise the lass. The Royal Guard had come to Bon Neffen, right on the sea. The poor, they were disappearing off the streets. The lass spoke out. The guard wanted her silent.
In a flash, you are both of them, brother and sister. Your feminine side is a rebel, rising up against the tyrannical queen. Your masculine side is a royalist, loyal to the monarch he loves. As the brother, you rescue your sister from the pikes of the Royal Guard. Together, you flee across the sea to the melting pot of Driftwood and Reaper's Coast. But in Driftwood, you visit the lizard.
Yeah, we're all curious from time to time. I don't blame him a bit. Sometimes you've got to let loose the beast.
You are the sister, and you know that something is wrong. You climb the stairs to rescue your brother, and find him fighting for his life against the dwarves who would rob him. Both of you die.
Damn it. Damn it all to hell. Just kids, both of them.
But your killers do right by their fellow dwarves, and bring you here to lay you to rest. As spirits, you fight for eternity, one convinced that the Queen is a tyrant, the other that your treason was wrong.
I want to say something trite, like, can't they just get along? But I know it's not so easy. Nothing is. Especially doing what you think is right.
The sister smiles. She feels vindicated. Her brother still does not agree. The rebellion was a disaster. The rebellion was a mistake that cost them their lives.
Ever strike you that life is just a series of islands? Like, you put down roots, something upends it all, and then you sail off and put roots down somewhere else. It's just islands, one after the other. You think I want to be the head of the Order? All I care about is dealing with that royal arsepain, and a divine sure as hell would be capable of doing just that. I ain't thought beyond there, and I ain't gonna prime that pump till I have to. I know I'm fumbling along here. I know the ways of royalty and the ways of piracy, but I know shite about divinity. All these people looking to guide me, and I'm still no sure how one divines or whatever. But hey, you make good fumbling company.
Beast looks left, then right, then down, unsure if his compliment hit its mark. Beast flashes a relieved grin and absent-mindedly begins to twist 3 strands of beard hair into a braid.
Let me tell you a story about Justinia. I think we were, say, age 10 at the time. My pop was off who knows where, spreading his seed in that oh-so-charming manner of his. So let's just say the court had its hands full. There was a big reception one night, the ridiculous kind where all the ladies wear dresses and all the men wear finery. Yeah, everyone looks starched. Well, everyone acts starched. So I decided to surprise all the noble farts at dinner. Snuck into the kitchen. They had a giant boar on a platter with an apple in its mouth. Longer than Laura herself, and not much fatter either. The cook put the lid on and set it down for the steward to take. And then I made my move. I dragged off that pig when no one was looking and stuffed it in a floor cupboard. Then I crawled onto the platter and pulled the lid up over me. Wasn't too long before the steward showed up and wheeled me into the banquet, none the wiser. Yup, some stuffy duke yanks off the lid and good old Beastie jumps out. Caused quite the stir. Queen wanted me gone, but little cousin Justinia, she had my back. Told Queen Laura it was all her idea, and she got a whooping on her backside and sent to bed without supper. So the point is, well, I ain't sure. I guess that she has a good heart, but somewhere along the way it got soiled. Forward. I know it's probably not the answer you wanted, but I can't think of much else to say about it. Weird, right? One of us will ascend soon, and, well, there's only one divinity. We've got choices to make, and we can't put him off forever. Holy coyote. The Black Ring's operating from right inside Justinia's court. Their spy's been bending her ear, driving the strife. She ain't just working for her own gain, but for theirs. It's got to be. All it took were a few magic tricks for her to make Justinia's eyes all wide and wandering. But it'll take more than a little hocus-pocus to save Isbel once I wrap my hands round her stinking neck. Ever strike you that life is just a series of islands? Like, you put down roots, something upends it all, and then you sail off and put roots down somewhere else. It's just islands, one after the other. Damn it. Damn it, Justinia, what the hell happened to you? The Black Ring's pulling her strings. I should have figured. But I've got to say, I'd rather she was just straight up cruel than simply too weak to resist an evil as flippin' obvious as the Black Ring. How could you be so stupid, Justinia? How could I? God's damn it all. That Isbel. She will pay.
A note flutters out of the waterlogged bicorn the minute you pick it up.
Oh, aye, it's my hat. Fran! Toss her over here if you don't mind. You're damn right I did. Just you wait till you hear what I call my beard. Fran, I missed you, so I did. Let's not part ways again, girl.
Beast looks not at you, or even through you, but beyond you, beyond the academy, to a place far from you, but close to him.
I know I talk a lot, but I don't talk about the Isle of Mists that much. No reason to, most of the time. Can't stop thinking of that time today, though. My crewmates and me, we can handle prison. We can handle death, even. But ain't no one should handle the Isle. You don't see the mist. You don't hear it. It's just there. In front of you, on top of you, and in you. Then the ripping starts. Your dreams ripped away. Your thoughts, your self. It's in you, and it is you. Your body is meat, perfectly preserved. The mist keeps it safe. It's your soul that's boiled. I'm not looking to ascend because I want the power. I'm not doing any of this for me. I'm doing it so the rebels never need face the Isle. So the mist will never be in them. So they can be truly free, fearless, themselves. As soon as I stop Operation Downfall, I rejoin them. As far as I'm concerned, that's where my divine duties begin and end.
Whatever words he meant to come next go unspoken. The wide-eyed and tongue-tied dwarf can only nod and blush in thanks. After all that's just happened, life, every flawed morsel of it, seems more precious to you than ever. You look around at those who have accompanied you so far. In each one, something unique shines through. Divinity has eluded you so far, but humanity, Humanity beats strong within you, here and now. Who knows what lies ahead for you, for your companions? Your quest failed. The void is growing stronger and the hall is dark. You feel the need for some affection. Perhaps they feel it too.
Well, I think about you a lot too, lad. I mean, I kinda have to and all, given the circumstances. I'm not sure what my beard has to do... Oh. Oh? Oh. Well, I mean, just look at you. I'd be a fool to turn you down.
Beast fiddles with his beard, but otherwise seems glued to the spot. As you move to go below decks, the live wood creaks and groans. The steps you thought you knew lead you to a part of the ship you've never seen before, a newly carved nook that smells of resin and wood chips. Touching the wall beneath your fingers, the live wood hums at your touch. You understand that the Lady Vengeance has carved this space for you in gratitude for your help. You enter and feel the presence of the ship recede, offering you the total privacy of a moment alone with your companion. The first moment you have been truly alone together.
Well, that'll have to do. I always preferred a starlit beach myself. You probably figured old Beast here to be, well, a beast about this. But I've not had much time for tenderness these last few years.
He twists his whiskers into knots as he speaks, making a tangled mess of his glorious beard.
Well, I don't know about multitudes. I just want good things for people, you know? I don't see much good anymore. Some, though. Mostly in you. Didn't always seem right. I watched you back in Fort Joy and I felt that pull, but I shook it off. I'm a free man, damn it. I can't let some stud get the best of me. But once we took to the sea together, I couldn't keep my mind off you. I ain't as much a free man as I thought, it turns out. Anyway, here I am, yammering like a newborn otter pup. As prone as I am to talking, I don't always have much interesting to say. A sweet thing to say, but I know the truth. It's just that I didn't always feel anyone was ever listening. When you're a bastard kid growing up with a prim and proper princess, you're ballast. Only thing that ever kept Queen Laura from dumping me was Justinia herself. That was before the change, of course. But you know most of this already. I just get all jumpy around you sometimes. Like if I don't keep my lips busy with talking, they'll get busy with kissing.
He nods and smiles silently, then thrusts his lips against yours. Suddenly, you are at sea, lost in that sumptuous beard and rocking to the rhythm of the waves. You pull out of the kiss and the vision. Yet Beast pulls you back. Your entire being is whiskers and heat. He explores you with his hands, inciting a series of shakes and shudders.
I don't know what I expected when I set out for Reaper's Coast.
He leans forward for another peck.
But it wasn't this.
Beast presses his hands on your cheeks and gazes into you.
Of course it is. I mean, ain't that the wonder of it? I'm prepared for most anything. The undertow dragging me off, or the royals catching up, or releasing my people from their misery. This here, this is special precisely 'cause I didn't see it coming.
He nuzzles even closer. Beast cuddles against you a moment longer before breaking the silence.
So, there's something I always wanted to try. And you seem to be the right lad to try it with.
Beast leaps to his feet and begins to gyrate his hips. He runs his hands up and down his chest and buttocks, blowing you a kiss with each garment he jettisons. When the dance ends, a nude and winking dwarf stands before you.
So, how'd I do? Oh. Well.
Beast looks unsure once again, his innate confidence melting as he takes in the sight of you.
I'm a lucky man, Ham.
He returns to your arms and begins to peel away your clothing until you feel only skin against skin. Save his beard, of course, which tickles your face, your chest, your belly, as his kisses slowly move downward. and there is only pleasure. All that was, is, and will be fades to fog. What remains are two figures entwined as one. Beast blinks twice as you slowly come into focus.
Still a lucky man I am.
Beast leans into the kiss, then pulls away and caresses your cheek.
I must say, I rather like this more than anything else we've been up to. A shame that real life has something more turbulent in mind, eh?
Beast gives you a shy grin, and the two of you brace yourselves for the coming storm.
Well, looks like we're celebrating Lucian's Day with a shipwreck. Rest in pieces, my lady. It ain't over till the Hammer Lady sings. I'm pretty sure I heard someone say that once. There's also another lady on my mind, of course. Justinia. A reckoning's coming for her, and his name is Beast. So much for sounding cool. I've never been very good at coming up with a snappy catchphrase on the spot. Why don't you give it a try? Now I wish I hadn't asked.
Beast's slight smirk and slow wink tell you he meant his words in jest. Given all that's transpired, you find his jocularity comforting.
You've given me such wonderful gifts. Your lips, your touch, and your vote of confidence. And I hope you're right. I just want my men, my women, my people, for them to be safe from Justinia's iron axe. But what kind of man would I be if I abandoned Divinity once I'd got what I wanted? I'd be a selfish man, and not one worthy of calling himself a champion of his people.
Beast, your invitation arrived as scheduled, I see. Most excellent. You must wonder why I've requested an audience with you. As it happens, we have a common enemy.
Beast's whiskers stand on end like a porcupine's quills, ready to pierce whomever might stray too close.
Ah, then you know we both would see Isbiel dead and the Black Ring scattered to the winds. Let us seal our partnership then, and put an end to the God King, Beast. Or is it Marcus?
Beast's fearful rage consumes him. He unsheaths his weapon with a roar and charges towards the doctor, who grins at the sight, then takes a defensive stance.
I don't bargain with the likes of you.
A guard rushes in front of you, and before you can flinch, the point of a sharp spear draws a bead of blood from the artery in your neck.
Halt! State your name. Now!
Marcus! Guard, lower your spear. An old friend's come to pay a visit.
Isbiel, we must not...
I'm well aware of the beast's ambitions, Your Highness.
Do as she says. Lower your spear. Yes, of course, my queen.
Your Highness, Bloom of Duna, Flame of the Forge, I present your bastard cousin and the seed of divinity, Marcus Miles.
Marcus is dead. I am the beast of the sea, and you will address me as such.
The Queen opens her mouth as if to speak, but Beast cuts her off with an ominous growl.
I know your deceit, Justinia. I may be beast, but I'm no demon. And only a demon could dream up an evil like Operation Downfall.
Isbel intrudes before the Queen can speak.
Your Majesty's brilliance has known no bounds. The Order has living tools of war. My queen must attack before they can invade the homeland.
Justinia turns to Isbel, looking for assurance, and Isbel begins to chuckle. Her laugh is low and measured at first, but grows in magnitude until she can barely breathe.
Oh, but you think yourself so clever, don't you, beastie boy? Fine. I'm tired of pretending I serve this weak wench anyway, but it doesn't matter. You can't stop the death fog. The wheels are in motion.
Isbiel?
Shut your royal maw, Justinia. Arcs will fall and your memory writ. They will believe it was your will, your plan, your command.
Isbiel, hush yourself. I must think.
Hush! You pitiful woman! Do you truly expect me to be silent?
You blink yourself awake to the cold gaze of 1,000 stones and the hot gaze of the dwarf Isbale, right hand of the queen.
Oh, good. You're awake. Yeah, at first I figured I'd just kill you. But then I thought, Isbeel, you're wasting an opportunity here. Don't bother thanking me just yet, though. I dare say you'll be begging to die before long. So I'll start with lesser toxins, just to see how you react, and take it from there. How strong a dose can a godwoken handle? How long does it take for one to succumb? So many questions.
You cannot move your arm, your leg, your head. They are no match for the pull of gravity. Your lips open, but no words spill forth. She has paralyzed you. Only your eyes are free to move.
Don't fight it. You'll only make things worse. Oh, but I've been so rude. You should know the real me. Oh, it's good to give myself a rest. Those masks can be darned pesky.
Every ounce of energy within you evaporates. You have no more control over your own source than you do of your flaccid body. Isbel shakes her head at you. Tut, tut.
Do try to relax. The harder you fight, the harder the experiment will be on you. Ah, that dose proves quite alarming for my normal subject. Let's try a new approach, shall we?
The attempt is futile. Every inch of your body is useless, though your senses still register every sight, sound, and smell.
Let's see now. I have just the thing. Just a spritz, mind you.
You struggle to move, and you feel your toes wiggle, and your fingers twitch. The paralysis is waning.
Interesting. Some of the results are quite unexpected. Now, let's move on to death fog. Live or die, you've already proven most... Well, I was going to say useful, but perhaps entertaining is the better word.
Isbale turns the valve, but no fog wafts forth. In that moment, you feel your bones and muscles awaken. You've regained control of your body at last.
What's wrong with it? God! Come! The Godwoken's broken free of my spell!
Justinia!
Justinia expels a long, shuddering sigh. It joins the other whispers that permeate the dank sewer air. A moment passes.
What do you want from me, Marcus? What can I possibly say at this moment and in this place to appease you?
It's not about appeasement. It's about innocent lives. Cannot let you release the death fog.
Marcus, the city is safe. I know the truth about Isbeel, about the Black Ring. It's over now.
So you're telling me you weren't malicious? You were just too weak to know you were being played? What a goddamned joke, Justinia.
You're right. Is that what you want to hear? You're right. Go and tell everyone how right you are. But you know what your rightness won't do. Protect a kingdom. And protect it I did, while you went off to live your God's damned pirate fantasy. And if I knew then what I knew now, Marcus, I would still exile you. You would walk the Isle of Mist to this day, stalked by demons and living the nightmares they planted in you. Call me a fool or a tyrant. Call me whatever you want, but I was still there. I was there. I lived reality while you were playing games.
Lad, you really lead me wrong. Call it. I know you got my back. We'll do as you say then. Go back to them, Justinia. I'll go too. We have to rebuild. For us and for them.
Have you forgotten your own journey, Marcus? I know you love your people. I know you would see them free, but I must be the one to face them, to release them from the prison I made for them. You are God-woken. Think of what you can do for the kingdom as divine. Far more than I can as queen. Go. I will serve the people as they ask. You will serve them as they warrant.
Justinia kisses his cheek.
You are the beast of the sea, the God-woken, the divine in waiting. You will do your people proud.
Things are gonna be alright, I reckon. It's a start, at least. And I like starts better than ends. You trying to keep me from having a nice moment for a change? Aye, alright, let's get moving. These knots are not untying themselves. So, here we are again. It all depends. What would you do? Huh. Don't think I haven't thought about it. Especially when there's someone worth settling down with.
He smiles shyly in remembrance of that special night.
Right now, though, everything's so uncertain. Maybe when this whole void thing has passed us, when we've done what we need to do. I guess I'm just saying that now's not the right time for making plans. I was wrong. About power, I mean. I was always kidding myself that I could only help my people if I were free. Lead them by example, you know. Thing is, I can never be free. So I must choose the dwarven people's liberty in exchange for my own. Whether I serve them as divine or in another way, well, I entrust this to you.
Beast bows in return. There's no denying the glint in his eye. Whatever the future holds, he is game for it. Beast brushes detritus from his beard, sand, skin, and whatever else might have accumulated there. He takes a deep breath when he sees you.
I know it's the same old sea breeze I've always smelled. But it's different now. I don't know how to explain. Maybe you do. Cracking on a crisp. Get up! Get up! Just 'cause I'm a divine, that doesn't mean you go all prostrate and stuff. Not that, you know, I mind looking at the top of that head of yours.
He blushes a red so deep you see it under his beard.
Well, that came out wrong, I think. But, I mean, you know what I mean.
Beast pulls your hand to his hairy cheek, and you caress it until he giggles and cringes from the tickle.
You have meant so much. Too much. I won't ask you to share a man owned by the people. There still might be a day for promises between us. It's just not today. For now, I go back to the kingdom. There's a lot to do there. Damage that needs undone. Dwarves have lived in fear for too long on the outside and the inside. And they're not the only ones. Some places need rebuilt. Others need destroyed. Knowing just who and what to build up and who and what to tear down's not going to be easy. I think I can handle it.
He winks and begins to sing.
You hear the wild beast just sails on the ocean. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. Off on the yawn, you hear the commotion. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. Your cupboard can't hide you, nor can your berth. His daggers don't care about the gold that you're worth. He'll bury your bones neath a mountain of earth. He's docked in the bay and coming your way.
He pauses, then continues to hum, all the while working his whiskers.